All right, a monster remake, an animated adventure, and more. Here's Ashley Dvorkin with a look at what's new in theaters and streaming.
Please.
There's something borrowed and something new at the movies with The Bride, as director Maggie Gyllenhaal puts a twist on The Bride of Frankenstein. Inspired by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and the 1935 film, Gyllenhaal's tale is set in 1930s Chicago and centers around the monster's companion as the murdered young woman is raised from the dead, leading the two on a dangerous and deadly journey together. Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale star.
We put this into this.
In adorable animations bouncing onto the big screen, Pixar introduces Hoppers. The story kicks off after scientists discover a way to transform human consciousness into robotic animals, and a young girl uses it to uncover mysteries of the animal world.
This isn't real.
In theaters and on demand is Heel with Stephen Graham, Andrea Riseborough, and Anson Boone. The thriller follows a 19-year-old with a lifestyle of drugs, parties, and violence who gets abducted and trapped in the basement of a suburban family set out to reform his ways.
You live in a house haunted.
Netflix brings back Peaky Blinders with the movie The Immortal Man. Set amid World War II, Cillian Murphy's Tommy Shelby returns from self-imposed exile. With the future of his family and country at stake, Shelby is faced with the choice of confronting his legacy or burning it down.
Whatever that thing is, it's hunting us.
Plus, the streamer adds the action-packed sci-fi War Machine with Alan Ritchson and Dennis Quaid about an elite team taking on an unimaginable threat during the final stage of U.S. Army Ranger selection. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox